Yes, as you mentioned before, prevention through presence. That's the goal of Pastor Troy Martinez and his program that brings dads on school campuses to prevent fights and any type of violence. And he says there's no better time than now to get this going.
This is the community standing up to protect the most precious resource in our state, and that's our children and young adults.
Pastor Troy Martinez wants action now to prevent more violence in our Clark County schools, fights like the ones News 3 has shown over the last few months, an issue he says is just getting worse.
As we see an uptick in violence and campuses that are becoming unsafe.
Martinez says having his program Dads in Schools on our campuses will change that.
Well, there's strength in numbers, and I can tell you when you have 10 men standing there, it's a wall of men. And I think just that prevention through presence is important.
So he stood in front of the Clark County School Board of Trustees to promote Dads in Schools, hoping for a contract with the district that would bring volunteers on campuses that need it the most.
It is going to take a lot of faith because we need approximately 3,670 dads to sign up as volunteers just to have 10 dads for 367 campuses.
What specific roles do they have on campuses?
Well, the school district has staff. They have school police, they have deans, they have hall monitors. But what they don't have is they don't have dads. They don't have somebody in the hallway saying, get to class, or how you doing?
There's no weapons. You're not doing any of the disciplining. You might break up fights.
The school district has the school police and hall monitors and deans that are trained to break up fights and do other things. Dads in schools will be there to encourage the staff, the students, and to provide prevention through presence.
Who are these male volunteers?
If they have a biological child at that school, or if maybe they're just a community leader or a male role model in our community.
There will be a background check required.
The vetting process will be comprehensive. We want to make sure every adult that volunteers through the school district is vetted, an FBI background check, and make sure that they are suitable to be there on campus.
Martinez says the volunteers that the program already has are ready to go as soon as they get the green light from the district. And that'll help right now when we have staffing shortages as well.
There's definitely staffing shortages, and so just having the additional manpower, if you will, is so important. And I'm hearing from staff, teachers, the spouses of teachers, they want someone else there to know that their loved one is safe while they teach.
He says principals will have full discretion on whether they want dads in schools on their campuses and which volunteers they will allow. And these administrators will provide training to the dads. Martinez says just these additional bodies on campus will lessen fights and put more focus on learning. But the community needs to help.
The violence that we're seeing going into the schools, it's not coming out of the schools into the community. The violence is coming from the community into the schools. So it is a community problem. It's a household problem. It's a parenting problem. It's something that we have to face as a community.
Students are being bullied. They're running through the hallways. They're just breaking out of the doors, dancing on tables, not attending class. No one's doing anything about this.
Frustrated and fed up. Safety top of mind tonight after a series of fights and attacks at Las Vegas schools. Tonight, the school board comes up with solutions. And as you heard there, hearing from parents, staff, and students, our Katie Munch was there at the meeting and has the passionate pleas for safety.
Yeah, the meeting was packed with people who wanted their frustrations over the violent disruptions in schools to stop. Listen to what they had to say. Parents, teachers, and students didn't hold back at today's school board meeting.
Let me be frank here. The school year has been horrible.
More than 20 people lined up to speak out during public comments. The majority used their 2 minutes to share violent encounters they say they've experienced at a number of CCSD campuses.
Basic high school, you got jumped by 7+ kids.
Safe is no longer a word I would use to describe this place.
I am here to voice my concerns about the safety issues.
2 weeks ago, Desert Oasis High School was placed on a lockdown 2 days in a row. And school officials confirmed they arrested this student for being in possession of a gun. Mother Cherish Morgan becomes emotional discussing it.
I trust her principal and her teachers and the staff to do their jobs to keep her safe. and giving her the education that she deserves.
Some teachers say the district needs to provide more mental health support for students and educators.
I had such a breakdown that I contemplated suicide at some point this year. The stress that you all put on teachers is alarming, and we are leaving in droves.
While many asked for additional resources, others felt hopeless that things can't improve.
We never get any answers. We never get any resolution. We get told that something is operational or that it's being looked into.
Now, yesterday, CCSD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara said he's working on a system to hold students accountable and collaborating with school principals. He says that plan will be shared with the public, but he didn't say when.
Hundreds of Culinary Union members gathering at the steps of the federal building in downtown Las Vegas to unload on the Internal Revenue Service.
Yeah, they're fired up. They say it's all about the timing of a tax hike. And News 3 Steve Wolford at the rally today. He's back in our studio now to tell us more about it.
Yeah, that's right. And as you said, the Culinary Union definitely fired up right now over some new tax hikes on their tips. Those hikes went into effect on January 1st. They say that it's hurting many of the union's 45,000 members, and it's all happening, of course, with rising inflation and gas prices.
When do you want it?
Hundreds of Culinary Union members in front of the federal building to let the IRS know they are not happy about a tax hike. And they say the timing couldn't be worse as they struggle with soaring inflation and gas prices. The union says the IRS is now taxing on tip allocations that workers can't earn because the hospitality industry hasn't made a full rebound. Holly Lang is a shop steward and cocktail waitress at MGM Grand.
In our lounges, for example, I spoke to a girl yesterday and she's being taxed like our conventions are back, and not all of our conventions are back. So her allocation rate was $35 an hour, and we don't even have that business during the daytime.
Adding to the pain, the IRS rescinded a 50% tax cut for tip workers through the lockdowns. To complicate things, the tax rates on tip allocations vary depending on job, location, and shift.
The IRS just decides in different areas whether you're a bellman or cocktail server or a food server, whether you work days, swing, or grave, what those rates should be. And we disagree with them. They may hit the mark on some, but most of them, they're much higher than they should be.
Local 226 Secretary-Treasurer Ted Papageorge says today's rally shows his union will come out swinging and wants to remind the IRS about a campaign promise.
President Biden said very clearly that, there aren't going to be taxes raised on anybody making less than $400,000. Well, the IRS needs to listen to the commander-in-chief and follow the directives of President Biden.
Papageorge told me that tip workers still need those tax reductions, and he wants the IRS to rescind this tax increase because we're still trying to dig out of the pandemic. I reached out to an IRS spokesman for comment earlier this week. He respectfully declined, saying that this is a very complicated matter.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.